Hello, fans of the Hunger Games Trilogy. My name is Nick Pell, and as usual, this is coming from my white room. Now, before I say anything, I'm going to say this. If you have not read The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, or Mockingjay, do not watch any more of this. There will be immense spoilers, including the ending of Mockingjay, which is the end of the trilogy, and there will be spoilers from Hunger Games and Catching Fire along with that. So, you have been warned. Stop if you have not read those and you do not wish for anything to be spoiled for you. Alright, and now you guys are the ones left who decided to watch my review of the trilogy. And I'll be talking about a couple different points. I'm hoping to be able to go over the majority of things. Anything that I do not cover, feel free to comment below. This is a spoiler frenzy video. Feel free to discuss any major events or any topics relating to the Hunger Games in general. And feel free to message me on anything if you so choose. So let's begin with the ending, which is what a lot of people I'm sure are here to see my opinion on. And for the most part, I did enjoy the ending to it. It ended in a very unexpected way for me. I didn't really expect Katniss to kind of just catch fire and for her part in the big capital battle to kind of be ended with that. Because I was always expecting like some big showdown with Snow, like maybe he would take Prim hostage or something like that. And it'd be some big hostage situation takedown. But no, it just kind of ends. She catches fire. Prim gets killed, and later we know that Snow kind of shows her that the rebellion, including Collin, aren't necessarily all that good, and she ends up assassinating President Collin and then living in basically exile in District 12. So, one thing with that I want to discuss is kind of the hopelessness that Katniss kind of has and kind of her loss of a purpose in life. Because as you kind of see in the second to last chapter, I think, actually, it's probably the last chapter. In the last chapter of the book, after she's in District 12, she has no motivation to do anything. She just kind of lies around. She doesn't even want to hunt anymore. Someone has to come over and feed her food and cook her meals and everything. She's lost her will to live for the most part. And I don't know. That was just kind of an interesting scene to me. I don't really know how to discuss it other than that. I would kind of need to be actually talking with someone for that. Overall, I don't know, it was a little more darker and depressing than I was really expecting to find in this trilogy. So I was gladly surprised that that was put in. And then also with the ending, the aspect that not everything necessarily changes after a revolution or a rebellion. Because you see, after District 13 has basically taken over the capital, Collin wants to instigate the Hunger Games again. She wants to have one final Hunger Games to kind of take revenge on the capital, and if that was not stopped, I feel like that would have just continued, except eventually District 13 would have become kind of what the capital was, and just needed to keep reminding the capital that they're no better than anyone else, and that they have the power, and that District 13 has the power. So that was slightly unexpected for me. I didn't really expect Snow to do something that drastic. But at the end, we see hope once more emerge. Once Peeta returns to District 12, and we kind of see him back to his old self for the most part. It does show him kind of fighting some nightmares, I guess, but for the most part, he has himself under control, and him and Katniss do grow close again. She kind of comes out of her shell. She starts hunting again. And then, as you see in the epilogue, they fall in love, get married, have kids. And I found it kind of funny that Peeta kind of had to try to convince her for 15 years to have kids with him. Because if you pay attention at all to anything in this book, you know that Katniss was dead set on not having kids ever. Because it was mainly because of the capital. She didn't want them to be able to use her kids against her, or use the kids and kill them. So yeah, that's what that. I want to talk about like a possible alternate ending that would have been, I think, kind of interesting. And that would have been if the rebellion had failed. So, as in, like, uh, the bombs that took out a bunch of people, including Prim and basically Katniss, they detonated and the rebels kind of lost their... They kind of, like, lost it. And they got defeated by the Capitol. And Snow remained in control. I just feel like it would have been kind of interesting if either Gale or Peeta would have been captured alongside Katniss, and then at the very end of the book, we see them being executed by hanging, and then you see them kind of side by side. You hear Katniss's inner monologue, and then as the trapdoor opens to kind of finish them off, it would just show the Hanging Tree song. And I don't know, something similar to that I think would have been kind of an interesting ending, because you always hope that books are going to end happily, but in reality, most of the time, these situations will not end so happily. And I feel like it's possible that if the Capitol had won, well, I feel like the Capitol could have won very easily, and or at least Collins could have made them win pretty easily. So it could have gone both ways. But I think that overall, I think that would have been an interesting ending to have, or something similar to it. So moving along with a less depressing note, let's talk about Peeta. And Peeta, for the most part, he has been kind of the central male character in this series, alongside Katniss, since the beginning, for the most part. You see him in Hunger Games and Catching Fire, and he's crazy about the girl. He has been in love with her since he gave her, actually since before he gave her the bread. And you see that easily, and yet Katniss kind of deviates from him because she's not sure of her own feelings. She's never had any reason to love someone before, besides her own family, obviously. And then he gets captured, and then after he gets rescued, he's forgotten all of this, and it turns him into a totally different person. And I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of interesting that they're able to, after a few chapters and Peeta starts to get a better hold on himself, to kind of start from scratch for the most part. Katniss kind of tries to instill some more memories of him, or instill some more memories for him, but for the most part, they do start from scratch, and it's cool that they're able to make it work again, as you see in the epilogue. And then also with the survival feel, I feel like this was a big thing in, well, for the majority of the book, I feel like this is what it's centered around. For the most part, in mainly the first two books, they had the Hunger Games and the big competition, life or death situation. And then with the Capitol and the rebellion and the war, it kind of gave that same feel, but it was in a more open environment, and not everyone was trying to kill each other. And so alliances could be more solid and stuff. And so, I don't know, I felt that for the most part the series did a really good job focusing on that and maintaining it through all three books. And me being kind of a liker of tragic endings for some reason, and coming from the Song of Ice and Fire series, I was a little disappointed with the lack of main character deaths. Like, I felt that maybe, like, Peeta or Gale could have been killed in some way, shape, or form, because I think it would have been kind of interesting to see Katniss's reaction to that and what she does afterward, especially if it was because of a fault of her own. Because the only main deaths that I can think of right now that we see are Prim and Finnick, and those are two really essential characters. We obviously have the deaths of Snow and Collin at the very end of the series, but for the most part, every main character lives, and I just felt like there could have been more deaths, and Collins could have worked on that a little bit as the series kept going. That would have been an interesting turn of events for the characters. And this is a fun one. We also have the Capitol. This is something that I thought of while I was at work today and writing all this down. And I'm probably gonna get bashed for this a lot, but I felt like the citizens of the Capitol could be reflected as kind of the U.S. / Europe type of citizens, in that we consistently try to change our own bodies, well, with surgeries, and just trying to, I guess, beautify ourselves in any way that we possibly can. And just like with the Capitol, you can see this all over. Just kind of have to look for it. That for the most part, people in the U.S. and Europe kind of, or at least the average citizen, kind of ignores the outside countries that, or in this case, districts. I'm using districts as an example for countries like outside the U.S. and Europe, or European Union. They're kind of blind to the sufferings of all these different people, and I don't know if that's what Collins is going for. For all I know, it wasn't intentional at all, but that's something that I kind of thought of that could be reflected by this series. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a brief summary of those thoughts, and those thoughts on everything. If you want to discuss it more in more detail, leave a comment or message me or a video response. I will happily reply to any of those. And with the U.S. Capitol thing, I could be pulling that all on my ass. I don't know. But it was just something that I thought of that could be associated with it. But yeah, that is my trilogy review for the Hunger Games trilogy. If you didn't catch this in the Mockingjay review, I really enjoyed the trilogy for what it was. It surprised me in how good it was, because as I said with the Hunger Games review, I kind of expected it to be not as exciting or actiony or death-filled as it was, and it satisfied me in almost every aspect of it. If you're watching this and haven't read them, you are an idiot and probably just had everything spoiled for you. But yeah, that's my review. It's probably really long, but yeah, thanks for watching. The 3 books are up here, and yeah, I might have the Song of Ice and Fire series review up here too. But yeah, that is my review of that. It should be One Piece or Millennium Trilogy coming up next. So that's what you have to look forward to next Sunday. So I'm gonna stop talking and let you guys comment and react to my reactions. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. That would be awesome, and I would love you for it. But yeah, my name is Nick Pell. Keep on reading, and for the very last time, may the odds be ever in your favor.